Canada's immigration ministers met recently in Toronto to discuss shared priorities to maximize the benefits of immigration. Stay tuned as we will be sharing highlights of the meeting. Hello and welcome to My Consultant, where we give you monthly updates about Canada immigration. We are starting today's episode with Canada increasing its support for asylum seekers, followed by the government to fund settlement and resettlement service provider organizations, and Canada reuniting the survivors of Daesh with their families. Next, I will share highlights of the meeting held by the Forum of Ministers Responsible for Immigration, that is FMRI, and Tashina will discuss Canada's dedicated humanitarian pathway for people in the Americas. This episode of My Consultant is brought to you by Scotiabank.
To address the increase in global displacement levels, Canada's Immigration Department has just announced new efforts to help improve services for asylum claimants in Canada. The federal government will provide the region of Peel, which is a municipality in Ontario, Canada, with $7 million to open a new reception centre. The centre will provide more streamlined services and support for asylum claimants. The centre will operate dually as a reception centre and a temporary shelter. It will operate in partnership with community organizations that possess the experience, skills, and capacity needed to serve this vulnerable population.
Service provider organizations play a crucial role in welcoming newcomers and help them build a successful life in Canada. Canada has launched the National Settlement and Resettlement Funding Call for Proposals to fund hundreds of settlement and resettlement service provider organizations across Canada outside of Quebec who provide critical services to the newcomers. Headline 2, Part 3, Take 1, Start. The funding agreement is for a period of 5 years. The deadline is January 31st, 2024. For more information about the eligibility and how to apply for the calls for proposals, please visit canada.ca.
Starting on December 1st, 2023, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, the IRCC, will accept applications from family members of resettled Yazidi and Daesh survivors in Canada. Up to 400 principal applicants and their eligible family members will be able to come to Canada under this policy. The public policy will be valid until either 400 applications have been received or until December 31st, 2026. The International Organization for Migration in Iraq will provide support for clients with filling out forms and application submission to the IRCC. To be eligible to come to Canada, a principal applicant must A. be a national of Iraq residing in Iraq planning to live in Canada but outside the province of Quebec, and B. extended family and dependents need statutory declaration from a Canadian permanent resident who has been a survivor of Daesh. All approved applicants will receive income support for 1 year and have access to resettlement support and up to 12 months of mental health coverage.
As Canada continues to welcome newcomers, the government is ensuring that housing, sustainable population growth, and infrastructure planning are considered so that newcomers are set up for success. Recently, Canada's Immigration Minister Mark Miller met with provincial and territorial immigration ministers to discuss shared priorities. The focus of discussion was Canada's ability to continue welcoming skilled newcomers, as well as its collective response to humanitarian crises around the world. The immigration ministers meet twice a year and together make up the Federation of Ministers Responsible for Immigration, that is FMRI. The FMRI is a decision-making body with goal of supporting a flexible and effective immigration system for Canada. The FMRI's mission is to advance joint immigration priorities and to enhance Canada's immigration policies and programs. Immigration ministers also made a statement after the meeting, highlighting the main discussion points, including reducing duplication among federal provincial economic class immigration programs and reducing processing times, supporting Francophone immigration outside Quebec, delivering a more responsive, client-centered economic immigration system, reducing barriers and streamline foreign credential recognition, exploring how governments can work together to address pressure on housing, infrastructure, and social services. Other important discussion points including considering expanding settlement services eligibility, particularly among asylum seekers and temporary residents, on a clear path to permanent residency, improving the integrity of Canada's International Students Program, aligning work permits with provincial territorial labour market needs.
The world is facing what is being described as an unprecedented migration crisis by reason of record numbers of people being displaced internationally. Canada recognizes this and the need to take action. As a result, Canada is welcoming 15,000 people from the Western Hemisphere through a family-based humanitarian pathway in addition to existing programs. Mark Miller, the Minister of the IRCC, announced that the humanitarian pathway to provide permanent residence to Colombians, Haitian, and Venezuelan foreign nationals is now opened for applications. To qualify for this pathway, the principal applicant must be a child of any age, a grandchild, spouse, common law partner, parent, grandparent, or sibling of Canadian citizen or permanent resident who agrees to support them and their family members for 1 year. Those coming to Canada through this new humanitarian pathway will receive pre-arrival services. This includes an employment skills assessment and a referral to a settlement service provider organization in their community. They may also be eligible for a transitional financial assistance from a resettlement assistance program. Canada is also welcoming people from the Americas by A, bringing an additional 4,000 people through Canada's existing temporary worker programs, including the Seasonal Agriculture Worker Program, and B, leveraging Canada's existing refugee labor mobility pathway, the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot. These measures are meant to alleviate migration pressures in the Western Hemisphere. This new pathway is designed to provide an alternative to irregular migration northbound through Central America for those displaced due to economic, social, or political instability. The IRCC says it will continue to monitor the progress of this pathway and make adjustments as needed. That's all for this episode of My Consultant. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to click the bell icon to subscribe to get notified for our latest episodes and posts. For more information on the topics covered in this episode, please visit us at MyConsultant.ca, where you may contact an authorized immigration and citizenship consultant. I'm Tashina Thompson.
I am Tina Batra, and we'll see you next month.